about who he was making Apple for. And he said that he was talking to his people about why they made Apple, what made it stand out from all other computers. And he said he was making it according to their core values. And their core values were that Apple was made for people who thought differently. And that was the centerpiece of their particular marketing campaign. And they were people who thought they could change the world. And I understood, and I posted there, you could go there at LinkedIn and see it, that now I understood why it was that I actually have had a Apple computer for so long, is that I'm one of those individuals that believe that what I have, what I offer, is for people who believe that the world can be better, that they can have a part and should have a part in bringing about change in this world. They do not want to just sit back and let things go as they are going. And they don't want to just simply complain about how things are going. They don't want to just simply complain, sit on the sidelines, be in the stands, and let things go as they are going. They believe that something, somewhere, someone, something in this earth can be different, and that they can make a difference in what's taking place in this earth. It may be in a small way, it may be in a larger way, but they feel that there's something within them that is being placed here within them that they want to make a difference. And it's not just simply that they would make money. That's maybe one thing, but the money making has to be a means to an end. The money making is a means to an end. At least that's the way that I feel. And I like that commercial that he did. He made it very clear that he saw Apple, the Apple computer, the way it was made for individuals who wanted to think different. And that the computer is something that's a method, a way, a tool by which they were able to bring about, whether it was a dream, a desire, and everything in regard to that. And so I think I was interrupted in my presentation in regard to the podcast that I was doing so that I would be able to see that particular presentation, because I believe that my steps are ordered. Do you remember that song from so long ago, Order My Steps in Your Word? That is what I think has taken place in all of my life, because there's so many times in my life in which I was going in one direction and then there was a slight movement that took place that moved me in another direction. One time in regard to that was when I was going to school, and I had moved from what we call the city into the country to live with my relatives. And I had in mind that I was going to go to one school. But when I got there, the school that I thought I was going to go to, for the reason that I had, and what took place was that I ended up going to a different school. And that school that I was going to, it ended up being a school that had a group of people that I ended up fellowshipping with or being with for a period of time. Indeed, my entire life changed as a result of that. And so I did not plan to go to the school that I eventually graduated from high school from. And so that whole piece in regard to that. So that's what I mean in regard to my steps being ordered in regard to life. And that whole piece like that. And this day, we'll see as we go forward in regard to this day, what has taken place in regard to that. But it was just a great presentation. If it's on LinkedIn, it may be on the web somewhere. But this advertisement in regard to Steve Jobs, who was talking to his people about why they made Apple, what was one of their core values, and who they were trying to reach. They wanted to reach individuals who wanted to make a difference. And I think the item was called Here's to the Crazy Ones. And they had individuals like Muhammad Ali, Dr. Martin Luther King Jr., and then Einstein and others. And they had this that they were talking about individuals that if they were alive, they would have had a Mac if they were alive, because they were the individuals, Mahatma Gandhi, others, if they were alive. And those who are alive, they would have Macs. And so that's what they had in mind. But that's what I mean when I say individuals who want to be their authentic self, who want to be who they really are inside. And those are the individuals that we're seeking to reach. That's why we're talking about the website, iwillrestore.org, and a person becoming his or her authentic self. If you just want to be a copy of somebody else and that's your highest aspiration, well, that's not the person I'm talking to. That's not really the person I'm talking to. It's great you're a copy of somebody else. You want to be like whoever it may be, but that's not the person that we're talking to. And not, at least not me, that whole piece like that. We're seeking to talk to an individual who sees something. It may be some minor thing, but you see something and you have an idea that has been placed inside of you that you believe that is unique, because each one of us are a unique expression of the divine, in my estimation. Now, I'm not the first person that says this. I'm not the first person. I've read over the past few days, I've been reading Dr. Carl Jung, why it's spelled Jung. Carl Jung was a psychiatrist. Him and Sigmund Freud had a dispute over this entire thing. Freud believed that the experiences that people had, the dreams that they were descriptive. And Jung believed they were prescriptive. In other words, there was something ahead of the individual, not behind the individual, that was drawing that person forward. And that person had the idea that was within them, that was unfolding from within. And so he talked about that. That's why we have what is called the MBTI, the Myers-Briggs type indicator. That's why we have what is called the hero's journey. It is an unfolding that is taking place in the individual, the hero's journey, which is used to bring forth movies, in particular the Star Wars series that took place. All of those things. And when you look at it, and then you look at the movie that's made from there, there is an unfolding that is taking place. There's a discovery that takes place. And a person steps into the unknown and becomes that which he or she is, based on the seed that has been planted. And long before I understood this, I had written in the back of one of my books, which is called the Steps to Christ Study Workbook, and I talked about the seed principle, and the seed principle is that the oak is in the acorn, is a genus, G-U-N-U-S. So it's a genus that's in there. The seed, the germ, is inside of the individual. And the acorn is the seed of the oak tree. So it's going to be an oak tree, but what particular kind of oak tree, how many leaves it's going to have, how many branches it's going to have, that is going to be developed into that unique oak tree that it is. And that's the same thing that happens with the individuals, called DNA as far as the DNA is concerned. But the particular individual that you are, that's a different thing. It's not determined. No matter how many times people say that you can only be what your parents have been or your ancestors have been, nope, that's not true. They used to say that you can only be as intelligent as your parents have been. However, they know now that there is a biology of belief. As one individual says, there's a biology of belief. You can change your beliefs and you can become something totally different than what anybody else has been before in your family. And so you can go beyond that. So your brain is a muscle and it can grow based on your ability. Now, I will tell any individual that as your muscles grow, they actually explode or build out or get stronger or whatever. And I had headaches growing, and many individuals have had headaches growing and everything like that. So there is this aspect, that the price to pay as far as growth is concerned. Sometimes you lose friends when you grow. There are all kinds of things that take place. So I just let you know in regard to that. But is it worth it? Yes, for me. it is worth it. For me, it is worth it. There's a whole thing that takes place. I say to people that I was the first, as I said, of my mother's and father's children who graduated from high school, who graduated from college, who graduated from a advanced degree. I'm not the last. And I'm the person who graduated and went on and got a doctorate. She's not the last either. And so that continues in regard to that. So there are a number of things that have taken place, and we're thrilled about it. That whole piece in regard to that. I think my mama and daddy would be proud to see what their siblings, their descendants have done. They would be very proud in regard to that. And so people who want to change the world, this whole aspect in regard to this. Previously, when I was doing this, I was saying that we talk about the 8 A's of transformation, the 8 A's of transformation. And we begin with the aspect of what I just said, pretty much is desire. The something within you that says you can make a difference. You can be someone of significance in regard to this world. And they had mentioned Gandhi in this particular, Dr. King in this particular item that was done in regard to Steve Jobs. And this desire, it could be called vision. It can be called awareness, which is in 8 A's. That's what we have, awareness. It can be called a call to adventure. All of these things are, for me, the same. It could be called consciousness, that you awaken to a particular desire that you have in regard to that. I'm going to read a thing in regard to Thomas Thurwood when he talks about desire, which I think is powerful. If you've not heard of Thomas Thurwood, I've studied a number of his books, and I think they are instructional to me, because I had this aspect of the 4 D's, and desire being the first of those, but I did not have it really fleshed out the way Thomas Thurwood did. So as I said before, that the desire, you reach a particular point, but the universe is already waiting. Spirit is already waiting. Before you call, Spirit has an answer already there. And so desire, Thomas Thurwood. And there's prayer and meditation, as it's called. I was doing prayer. I had seen individuals who had been sick who got well. I saw individuals who had dates certain as far as their medical professionals had given them dates certain as to when they were going to die. And I had seen them actually live beyond, decades beyond that particular date that they had been given, that they were going to die. I had prayed for them and saw them live beyond that. And so all kinds of things that I had seen. Meditation adds a new level to that. And the fact is that meditation has a scientific basis as to that whole piece. And my 8 A's actually has a meditation that goes along with it, and that whole piece in regard to that. And it helps the mental health. Today we're talking about mental health and the aspect of being vital, especially today when there are so many things that are going on, both for young and older individuals in regard to that. And so there's a mental health. The meditation becomes vital, that individuals. And we have what we call the Restore Matrix. The Restore Matrix, I had mentioned this before, the areas that we work with is spiritual health, mental health, physical health, relational health, career health, and financial health when we're working with individuals. So we're working with them in regard to all of that. And how do you change the world in this world as well? We have Restore Executive Life and Leadership Coaching and Consulting. It's born out of the aspect that we already had the I Will Restore coaching, but we started Restore Executive Life and Leadership Coaching and Consulting because we coached an individual, and that person insisted that we actually come and start a business, a for-profit business that was doing coaching and consulting. And so I moved from just simply doing it in regard to that it was a nonprofit organization to having a for-profit. And so we train individuals, and we have it so that we have it in commercial space, government, contracting space, all of those spaces, and we train individuals. They don't necessarily have to work with us in regard to that, but we do want to have an agency by which we have individuals who, when we need them, we can call them and they can work with us in the things that we're doing and going all over the world to do that. We've sent some of our training as far as the books and things that we have on prayer and meditation. We've sent them to other parts of the world as well. And so individuals are able to take part in those particular items. So I'm going to end this and then start another presentation that's going to talk about the aspect of desire. This reading out of a particular meditation I have, where we talk about Thomas Thrower's book. The book is either Doré Lectures or the Edinburgh Lectures, one or the other. But I'm going to read his particular item that talks about desire. So we'll start in just a few moments, but we're going to end this right here. Take care. Restore Executive Life and Leadership Coaching and Consultant. I Will Restore broadcast as well. Info at iwillrestore.org. Remember, we are looking and talking and working with individuals who see themselves becoming their authentic self, their unique self from the inside out. It's already planted inside of you, what Spirit intended. Like he said to Jeremiah, before I called you, before you were formed in the womb, I ordained you to be a particular person. So that's what we're working with here. Blessings. Bye-bye.